Hey guys, Jim Grant here for AmmoLand TV, and today we're taking a closer look at this. No, not the rifle, the Primary Arms SLX 3X Micro Prismatic Optic. If you are not familiar with Primary Arms, they are a more budget-friendly alternative to other makers out there, but unlike a lot of the quote-unquote budget-friendly optics makers, they actually make a very quality product. And this is one that I really like. Now, if you, at first glance, this doesn't seem like anything special to you, it should, because it's a very compact little optic, but despite this, it's still a 3-power scope. Pretty wild. It features full adjustments for both windage and elevation. It has an illumination knob here on the left side of the optic, and it features that horseshoe BDC reticle, the ACSS reticle, that Primary Arms is known for. There are two different variations of the optic. This is the 300 blackout variant, and I chose this one because I'm running it on this 7.62x39 AK, well, more specifically, a Kalashnikov USA KR-103 SFS, because 300 blackout supersonic rounds have a very similar ballistic trajectory to 7.62x39. So much so that the 300 blackout BDC in this actually works. So you can utilize the sub-tensions within for the proper holdover for engaging targets out to like 600-700 meters, though doing so with an AK is a little bit tricky, obviously. Still, this is a very nice little optic, and I've got it mounted to this AK with an RS Regulate ACOG mount, which is ACOG. And even though that mount is not specifically designed for the interface of this Primary Arms optic, it's close enough that when utilizing the included mounting screws, you can just pop it on there. And that's another thing that's really nice about this optic. Unlike a lot of optics makers out there, this optic comes with everything you would ever need to mount it on pretty much anything. So it comes with, I believe, 6 different sets of screws, 3 different risers, one that's more rearward oriented, one that's straight up, one that's extra high, so you can utilize it for a proper co-witness, slash if you want to make sure you can run it above a front sight tower if you have like an AR and you want to use a fixed backup rear sight. And of course, you can take off all of the mounts and just utilize this ACOG mount. And thus far, it's been awesome. So a couple of quick rundowns on the optic itself. I mentioned before that it has windage and elevation adjustments. That's true. It actually has 80 MOA of adjustment for both windage and elevation. The optic only measures like 2.6 inches in total and actually has 2.7 inches of eye relief, which is fantastic for this kind of prismatic scope. And it only weighs 8 ounces. It has an objective lens diameter over here of 23 millimeters and has a field of view of 38 feet at 100 yards, which is excellent given what it is. Light reception in my testing has been excellent. I have had no problems whatsoever. And the illumination settings on this are actually compatible even with night vision, which is fantastic. Thus far, I have had it on this gun, on a 308 Tavor, as well as a 308 Galil, and I have had no problems with the optic holding 0. It just seems to work. And thus far, I've really enjoyed it. So is it worth the money? Well, with an MSRP of $319, it's not terribly expensive. Now, I know some of you out there that are used to some really budget line optics might be scoffing, but if you look at the price of something like an ACOG or an Elcan or even some of the more mid-tier optics, this is actually, you know, very competitive, and more importantly, it gives you a tremendous amount of magnification without being, you know, complete overkill in a very compact package. And if you look at the way that it lines up here on an AK, it's perfect. I can get on target very quickly, and when combined with this RS Regulate ACOG mount, I'm able to not have to utilize a chin weld, but rather a proper cheek weld. So is it worth it to me? Yeah, 100%. I love it so far. It's been pretty much my new go-to optic for sort of quote-unquote long-range AK optics, and long-range meaning like, you know, mid-range. But for 3-gunning or pig hunting, this thing is badass. Thus far, I have not had the chance to drop it on concrete yet. I don't know if it would survive it or not, but it seems pretty robust for what it is. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in, and as always, if you want to see more AmmoLand TV, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, for AmmoLand TV, I'm Jim Grant, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.